Magic presents Hollywood Snakes. There is an incredible story behind this scene from the 1960 Disney adventure Swiss Family Robinson. What few people know is that the fight between the Robinson brothers and a 22-foot anaconda was more than well-staged cinema. It was a very real life or death struggle. It all started with Walt Disney's determination that his film would be a milestone in bringing actors and wild animals together on screen. In what became nicknamed Operation Ark, the production airlifted more than 200 animals onto the island of Tobago in the Caribbean Sea, where the entire movie was to be filmed. Cast as one of the Robinson brothers was 21-year-old James MacArthur, who would later go on to play Dano in the television series Hawaii Five-0.
We had our own zoo, all these animals. They brought in elephants and tigers and hyenas and all these things, and to say nothing of snakes.
One of those snakes was a 250-pound anaconda, which had just been captured in the Amazon and flown over to Tobago. Stuntmen Lauren James and Chuck Courtney, as seen in these rare home movies, doubled for actors MacArthur and Tommy Kirk in the snake fight sequence. Wrestling the anaconda would be particularly dangerous because Walt Disney insisted that the snake not be harmed.
So he said, I don't want the teeth pulled on the snake because they have 400 little fish that look like teeth. But they don't kill by poison. The teeth give them an anchor and then they wrap around and crush you. So as long as he didn't have that bite, he couldn't crush all the way.
Since they couldn't remove the anaconda's teeth, it was imperative that they keep it from biting. So James and Courtney switched off holding the snake's head while the other wrestled the body.
The snake would get 2 or 3 coils around me, then 2 or 3 coils around Chuck, and then 2 or 3 coils around the two of us together. Well, we were rendered unconscious 8 times in the 3 weeks we fought it. And they had 19 men standing there that when we'd holler help or we were in trouble, they'd all jump in the water, and it would take them sometimes a half hour to get that thing untwisted.
MacArthur and Kirk, observing the final day of filming with the stuntmen, thought it would be great if they were seen in close-up shots.
So Tommy and I both volunteered to get in with the snake, and we were both young and foolish.
Making sure the anaconda was first well-fed, the filmmakers agreed to try a few shots with the actors. To everyone's surprise, the giant snake had by now grown accustomed to human contact and was relatively docile.
I got in the water and they brought the snake up, and I was very gingerly holding this thing, and then I started going around in the water and crashing away.
By bringing together 2 brazen young actors, a couple of courageous stuntmen, and one giant anaconda, Walt Disney delivered the most realistic snake attack audiences had ever seen. Accomplished without harming any of the performers, human or reptile.
Then they put it in a helicopter, it went back to the Amazon and got about 5 feet off the water and dropped it back in within a quarter mile where it was.
What's this anyway? Another one of your little furry animals?
In the movie, it doesn't take long for the Mamba to strike its first victim.
I can't breathe.
Death by Mamba is not a pretty sight. Its venom attacks the nervous system, instantly causing shock, profuse sweating, cramps throughout the body, swelling of the lips, and paralysis of the throat. The black mamba is widely considered the most dangerous snake in the world. It will attack without provocation and can strike from a distance of 15 feet in less than 1 second.
403, take 2. Action!
So when filmmakers embarked on production of the 1982 thriller Venom, which tells the story of a black mamba loose in a house, one wouldn't have expected them to use a real one. Well, they didn't use one. They used 6.
In retrospect, it was a very stupid thing we did. But unfortunately, nothing looks like the black mamba. And unfortunately, we couldn't build one that would do the things that a live snake could do.
And at all times, an ambulance and medical team armed with anti-venom stood by in case anyone was bitten. But even if a victim were to be injected immediately, the chances of survival were only 50-50.
It was a terrifying, vicious, absolutely uncontrollable creature. I don't know why it's alive, why God put it there.
The snakes did their acting from behind plexiglass sheets which divided them from the camera, cast, and crew. Ball's methods for handling the snakes were captured in these home movies, the only behind-the-scenes footage shot on Venom.
I had tubes that I could run the snake through the tube with about 2-3 foot of snake out at one end and holding onto the tail at the other end so he couldn't reach me.
The delicate process of tubing a black mamba was demonstrated for our cameras by keepers at reptile gardens in Rapid City, South Dakota, which exhibits the largest collection of reptiles in the world and is one of just a handful of locations where black mambas can be seen. Immobilizing the mamba in a tube not only assured safety, but agitated the snake, producing just the right look for angry close-ups.
Oliver Reed, who is a bad guy in this film, was shot and was lying in a cellar. And he realizes that the snake is at the other end of the room, coming towards him. And the snake crawled up his pants leg.
A dummy stood in for Oliver Reed during filming of the close-ups.
Even knowing how it was done, it was terrifying.